Over the past couple of months, I have received a question on some of my videos, mainly questions about what the Justice League members and the Teen Titans members could look like. A couple of months ago, I made a video on what my personal preference are with these DC teams, and if I was to ever make my own DCU, these are what my teams would generally look like. Now, here's the thing about choosing characters to belong in certain teams, and I'm sure any comic book creator can tell you the same thing. Your ideas change. I'm sure there are times where at one point you wanted this character in this group, but a couple of weeks later you're like, no, I want this character in this group. And I'm sure it might even work the same way when making a TV show and when making a movie. So some of these could change at any time. Now, in my video, I did my personal preferences on Justice League, Justice Society, Justice League Dark, Teen Titans, and there was a little bonus in there about the Legion of Doom. If you want to check that video out, link will be in the description below. So here's the thing about theorizing what the teams could look like in James Gunn's DCU. First of all, I don't actually know if we have enough evidence of what characters will belong in which groups. Yes, we have the obvious movies and TV shows that have been released to us, but we still don't know if all of those characters will be in a Justice League or a Teen Titans or a Justice Society. We just know they're getting their own movies and shows. That doesn't really mean anything. Number two, we have to take into consideration this writer's strike, which is really bad and does not seem to be any end in sight. If this persists, this means that a lot of anticipated movies and shows are going to get canned. And also, too, with how much of a mess Warner Brothers still is today, there's a chance that maybe Zaslav pawns off this company to someone like Universal, which I honestly think is going to happen. And maybe the DC projects we thought we were gonna get, we don't get, and maybe we get new projects in its place that we weren't expecting, which would honestly put into question which characters are here for the long run and which characters are actually going to end up being used at the end of the day. There's a lot of moving pieces here. I know I could simply just sit here and theorize, oh, I think this character, this character, this character, but I honestly think there is much more that goes into it. I think, first of all, you need to kind of put yourself in the perspective of James Gunn. What type of guy is he and what type of characters would he want to use? And we also have to take into consideration how different this universe seems to be starting off. I mean, this is not about whether or not you're excited for this slate or not. This is simply just a statement of the fact that we're getting a DC universe kicked off with an Authority movie tells you all you need to know that it's going to be a little bit of an unorthodox approach to the future of this universe. That also tells me James Gunn, we've seen it before in his other movies, he will probably have no problem using characters that we would have never thought to have used before. So we can obviously just scratch these off right here. Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman will be part of the Justice League. There is no doubt about that. But when you look at how this Justice League team could be formed from here on out, there are many different possibilities. First of all, we don't even know where the Flash fits into this new universe. Maybe the Flash movie will have some very small answer to what could be happening with that character. I'm going to safely assume the Flash will be part of the Justice League, and I'm going to say it will be Barry Allen. As for the Green Lanterns, because I think we do need to have a Green Lantern in the Justice League, we do know they're doing both Hal and John. So which Lantern makes it into the group? There's, of course, Martian Manhunter, who is part of my personalized team. Something tells me that even though he is definitely a more unique type of DC character, and he has absolutely taken a step back. For some reason, he's not as important as he used to be. I still don't think James Gunn would use Martian Manhunter. I feel like that is a character who will come at a different time. And then there's, of course, Aquaman, which the question is, what's the plan with the character with Jason Momoa? Because it does seem like if everything works out properly, Jason Momoa will probably be Lobo. It's safe to assume that Aquaman will get recast, but is he going to be as important to this new Justice League and this new DC universe as he was before? Here I was earlier trying to think about who could be the seventh member of this group, because of how different this universe is being kicked off and because of how different some of these projects are that we're getting. I could see a situation where this is more like a Justice League Unlimited animated series or a Justice League International. I think we could be in a situation where the Justice League might not be a main seven. It does feel as if this DC universe has already been developed, and it was even pretty much admitted the other day that in this new universe, everyone more or less pretty much already exists. We could be seeing the future of the Justice League or the future of these teams just being a massive conglomerate of heroes, maybe 30, 40, 50 of these heroes, and it's just a situation of boop, 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 boop. Who's the closest 7 Justice League members who can easily show up on the scene right now and even offer support? I think we also gotta wonder, is it good to be locking this down to 7 members? Maybe this Justice League has 8 or 9 or 10. Other than the very, 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 very obvious Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and the more so obvious Green Lanterns and the Flash, there is still a couple of more spots to fill in, but think about some of the characters that he wants to introduce into this world. You've got Booster Gold, you've got Swamp Thing, you've even got Supergirl, who I don't really know what age range she's gonna be. Of course she'll be younger than Clark, especially in appearance, but is she gonna be more like mid-teenager? Is she gonna be early 20s? Where are they gonna go with her? Because depending on her age, she could even be a Justice League member. Maybe even members of the Authority join the Justice League and maybe act as part-time members. Now, of course, I'm sure you have to keep some very similar resemblance of your on-screen Justice League to comic book Justice League, because if you don't, a lot of fans are going to cry about comic book accuracy, as we've had this discussion before. So I do think that maybe for the first Justice League movie that we may get, it has to be a solidified number of maybe 7, at the most 8 of them. And then in the future, I do think he's opening the door to a Justice League Unlimited type of roster. And the reason why I think that is I keep talking about this unorthodox approach to the future of the DC universe. I don't know how many people remember this, but a couple of months ago, like maybe a couple of weeks after they announced Gunn was the CEO of DC, he responded to someone on Twitter telling them that he has been paying close attention to the Justice League animated series, and the Unlimited animated series comes with that as well. And it makes me wonder if he's going to take a lot of inspiration from that, which he said he was doing. Like I've said, ideas can 100% change, but I do think that Justice League model, that Justice League animated series, is a great place to strip a lot of ideas from and make your own ideas from it. So that's my little ramble on basically saying expect the unexpected. We might just be in a situation where the answer is more simple than we'd think. Everybody's in the Justice League. As long as you're a hero and you've signed their certain NDA contract and lawyer fees or whatever you got to do with the Justice League, everybody is part of that team at one point, just sitting up in space in the Watchtower. But because it is always good to have one team, I do think we're gonna go back to the original. I think we're gonna go Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Barry Allen Flash, Hal Jordan Green Lantern, and Aquaman. I could see them maybe doing what they did before, adding in Cyborg. I could see them throwing in a Hawk Girl like the animated cartoon, or a Hawkman. I could see them even throwing in someone like Adam. I could see them doing a lot of things here. For how unhinged James Gunn can be and how different his mind works with characters and storytelling in comic book worlds, I do think that a lot of people who are going to be surrounding these projects are going to understand that they need to keep the Justice League pretty similar to what we know them to be. We can't make any drastic or crazy changes. We obviously gotta think of other characters that have been a part of the league before, like Green Arrow, Black Canary, like I've said, Adam, Martian Manhunter. There's even Plastic Man, a character that James Gunn is very interested in. I think that's going to be saved for some sort of epic Justice League Unlimited situation that they might eventually drive towards, or it might be characters who will be saved for a Justice Society, just a different Justice League group, as we all know. For example, if Hal Jordan is in the Justice League, I could very well see John Stewart being part of the Justice Society. And this can also lead into certain implications for the Teen Titans, because I feel like the Teen Titans, you can play around with that group much more than you can with the Justice League without getting people really angry, and I'm sure it would still make people angry. But you gotta wonder what Robin is gonna be part of this group, considering the Bat family has already been established. I'm gonna go on a hunch and say we're gonna get Starfire, we're gonna get Raven, and we're gonna get Beast Boy. I also think Cyborg will be in this world, but he will be more of a Teen Titan than he is a League member. He's gonna be younger, so throw Cyborg into the group. And it depends on how many other people have been established at this point, because there are still a lot of details we don't know. Does Barry Allen have Wally West? Is Supergirl younger? Has Wonder Woman been around long enough to have Donna Troy? If Green Arrow's around, maybe he's not in the Justice League, but maybe Arsenal is part of the Teen Titans. I actually think we're gonna see Tim Drake's Robin, Starfire, Cyborg, Beast Boy, Raven, and I'm actually gonna go a little bold here, and I'm gonna say Wally West Flash. I think this is going to be a universe that has two speedsters. But after all this rambling I did, my point is we still don't have enough information for me to sink my teeth into anything definitive. Also, the fact that we're starting in the midst of a DC universe where quite a lot of things have been established, there is a lot of potential for many things to happen. These teams could look very similar to what I said, slightly different, or even vastly different. I mean, take in characters like Booster Gold or like Swamp Thing. There must be a reason they're making these characters. They gotta fit in somewhere. Is it a Justice League? Is it a Justice League Dark? Is it a Justice Society? It's hard to tell. But I do have a feeling that a lot of these team-ups, especially in the beginning, are going to be the default members, or the classic, original, whatever term you want to use for it. It's going to be the teams that we see 80-90% of the time. But anyways, everyone, let me know in the comments down below what members you would like to see in the Justice League, Teen Titans, and other teams. If we start getting more information about this universe within the next couple months, then I might make another video with more information where my predictions and thought processes can be a little more clear. But that is it for this one. So until next time, everyone, I'll talk to you all very soon.